you all for coming. As I told you, Steve Meager notified me that he was not going to make it, and I haven't heard from Sarah one way or the other. So you have in front of you an agenda, and you also have a copy of the Vietnam Memorial budget projections. That is literally as of today. But procedurally, following the agenda, let's begin with the approval of the minutes from our meeting on October 20th, 2021. I sent you copies. I asked for feedback. I got little, but I guess you looked at it, and so therefore, will somebody make a motion that
Make
we,
a motion.
okay,
I'll
second?
second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion is passed. I will submit that to the town. Okay, moving right along, we are gonna talk about the update on how much money we have raised to date. And I think we all have an opportunity to give ourselves a pat on the back, because officially, according to the last amount that we received from Bill, he came in this week and got the feedback from Sandy, and I guess officially we can say $39,964. And I know that someone came on Facebook and said, I'd like to make the other $38 contribution or $36 contribution. So I believe we can say formally that we reached our goal of $40,000. And remember way back when in March when we first started, and we said we have two main objectives, and one was to have the funding in and the design of the memorial done by Veterans Day, and
Voila.
we did it. You know, in fact, we're well beyond that, as we will see. So I think that's a wonderful attribute. And, all of us, directly, indirectly, and our advisor, Ed Blanchard, has been extremely helpful. Ed is here tonight to help us along with any of the numbers and figures that we've got here for our budget. And so that's great. And so the next is to look at, discuss, and review all of the quotes and the proposed budget for anticipated expenses for our memorial and restoration project. So we have prepared that budget, and stop me at any point. Anything needs amplification, correction, things that need to be added to it. But I want to go over that with you all. And so beginning with the premise that we have $39,964 in the kitty, and looking at what we have there for perceived expenses, which we know for a fact we have set aside $21,100 to LandPro Landscaping to not only have the memorial built, but have it shipped. And that would leave us, if you do the math, that's going to leave us with $18,864, just to follow the format. And then in addition to that, we've talked about it before, but we have an official estimate from Astro Crane, and they are prepared to store and to set up the monument when the time comes, and their estimate was $2,000. If you have a moment, look on their website. I did, and they have, can't believe the equipment they have, and they're bonded, they're professionals, they're experienced. So that $2,000 estimate is generous for what I believe would be a professional setting and the pins and doing everything that will be necessary to make the memorial completed. And that's like we were projecting here that it'll be delivered and set up the week of the 23rd of May prior to Memorial Day. And so that $2,000 is set aside, leaving us a running balance of $16,864. In addition to that, as a committee, we have agreed to do some extensive work as we can on the memorials and monuments that are on our town common and across the street in front of the school. And with this in mind, I will say that I've made a few decisions to do some things, and I backed it up by making some other calls to see if we're in good shape. And I apologize if I stepped ahead, but I hope you'll agree that what I did was for the benefit of making this all come together in a timely fashion. So in your paperwork, you do have the quotes from Leominster Monument Company, another company that I've checked into, and they are offering to provide the service to clean the memorials that are on the common now. And so if you will look at the World War I and Spanish War monument, that's $250 to clean it. But then when it comes to the bronze plaque cleaning, that is a totally different story. And if you were to look at the paperwork, which I'm sure you will, they projected that would be $6,000 to clean the bronze plaque that is attached to the memorial.
Pardon me, the $6,000 was for the cannons, to refurbish the cannons,
No, was
$5,200.
how much was it for the?
$5,200 for each plaque.
$5,200 for
Yep.
the, oh, thank you. And that is something that they have offered when they come out to do the cleaning work on the monuments, which they, by the way, are prepared to do if we say we accept their quote right now. And I said, well, we want to wait till the spring, and they said we can, but we get awful busy in the spring, and we sort of bid, and they said what we do will certainly last one winter and many winters, and will produce what we will, I believe, see as a great deal of improvement on all of our memorials. And then when they're here, they've already been out, they've looked. I'm right about that, Ed? They have, yep.
Yeah.
I knew in conversations that they had. They're gonna look at the bronze panels again, and they're gonna try to make recommendations for us. They're gonna, options, and we'll see what they come up with. I mean, they're not in bad shape. I mean, but, you know, if they have some options other than an SOS or Brillo pad to do it, then we would listen to what they had to say. So
Yeah, I think those prices are significantly high. One of the bronze plaques is actually has a brown coating over most of the bronze, and that's not in bad shape and could be cleaned up rather easily. The World War One.
there's a Span Am in World War I,
Yeah.
and then
The
there's a
World War
World War
One
II.
memorial. We'll have to take a look at that, but I think we can Google how to clean bronze and see what the procedure is. And with those quotes being what they are, I think between now and the time we need to have them done, we can either get more quotes or figure out a better way to take care of the bronze plaques rather than $10,000.
Well, for these prices, we need to put out a public RFP again, is that not
Exactly,
correct?
anything over 2,500, we would have to do that, so that also complicates things.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know that every time I've seen Antiques Roadshow or Pawn Stars, when someone polishes an old piece, the value plummets. So do we is this something that we want to undertake, or do we want to have a patina on it?
That's a very good question, and I think that, once the company comes out, my input would be have them take a look at it and see what they have to say. And I've looked at them very carefully. They're still, and there's a certain patina associated with age. But here's a case where it's never gonna be for sale, and this is appearance. And, the Antique Roadshow will tell you that there are people that, like coins you never clean, and there are certain pieces of, other antiquities that you don't clean, cause then they have a natural patina. But where, you'd wanna think about, what did they look like when they were new? When they were originally in place? And if we're doing a restoration, and we can replicate it with class, what they look like, then we could still consider it, but, I think, but I'm very interested in your input, that if we can have the monuments themselves cleaned up and, prepared, we still have time to then decide what we're gonna do.
It's too late to put in a request to the town, is it, like we had before we withdrew it? Is
I
it
would say it's
late?
too late for that, yeah. We still, actually, we could still conceivably do,
Cause it'll be a much smaller amount.
Yeah.
And they will probably consider it as part of the town property.
well, if it was 5,200, is it 52 for each of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the cannons, which,
$12,000 for the two of them.
yeah.
Those that just have like a blush rust on them,
I thought they were black. Aren't they painted black?
yeah, they're black.
Yeah, but
But-
within the black, there is, some surface rust,
Mm.
so it has that rusty.
Yeah, and I think there, the quote for $6,000 to completely strip the poly coat that they have on them off, put on, bond on a new poly coat and then repaint them. Looking at them, I think there's, other alternatives we could do. I was gonna ask, Leominster Monument if they would consider coming out and being able to sandblast off the rust, and then we'd repaint. Or if he didn't feel that was a good procedure, you could take something like iron out, or, here again, we can Google online, and probably take care of the rust and be able to repaint those and have those looking good for little money.
On metal, you have, surface rust, and then you have pitting. And, these are just beyond the surface rust and have a light pitting.
Yep.
But, the barrels are very, very thick, and so, and the metal, when it was new, was never a fine, polished, bright, so, in terms of, taking that upon ourselves, or potentially when Leominster Monument comes out and looks at them, if they could, do a sandblasting to get it down to where it's, basic, and then do paint, it would certainly improve the appearance, and preserve them too.
I would much rather pay someone who does this day in and day out than figure out how to do it ourselves. Because these are one of a kind pieces, and if we make a mistake and somehow harm them, then the cost to repair them will be more if they're reparable after our restorations.
And I would also, be happy to, follow up on my leads, because where I'm in the, antique business, with Militaria, I know people that, have cannons, and I could, ask for their input too, how they would go about taking, and I could send pictures and so on and so forth, but, I think we can forget about, $6,000 a piece, and investigate alternative, ways of doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not advocating to do this, but I have a can, it's about this big around, like the old tobacco cans, and it sits about this high. And it was issued to me in 1965 as a plebe at the Naval Academy. And inside of it is, it's like a cotton, fabric that's got, it's penetrated with things that polish bronze. And I have used it since 1965 in all of my military regalia when I was.
Brasso, are you talking about?
Well, it's a Brasso type
Type
of thing.
thing, yeah, mm-hmm.
That's
and-
a lot of work to put
And,
in.
you know, every year, you know, when I'm putting together the white uniform and getting the brass polished, I get it out. And, anytime, I even have, the tip of the, point of a scabbard over an old bayonet from way back in the early part of the country. And I polish that anytime I'm polishing something, and it's, you know, it's not hard, you know, and
Just takes time.
it just takes
Mhm.
time. So, I mean, the time here is gonna be, I think, the biggest issue.
I think that, if we have, if there's another meeting, 2 weeks from now or a month from now, I think that, Leominster Monument will have time to give us alternatives, that they feel, would make them look a lot better and not be into, major surgery on them.
And they're the
So-
pros, I mean,
Yeah.
they do this,
Yeah.
so.
Well, they're just gonna power wash them basically?
Yeah. What do you think they're gonna do to, do the, improvement on the memorials?
They have a power washer
washer.
that they can use, yep. They also have a sandblaster if necessary, but I think they have, special, cleaning fluid and, so that the granite doesn't get disturbed at all. And with the right kind of brush and cleaning with power washing.
Yeah, and they have their work cut out on the Civil War monument, cause that's, rougher.
Yeah.
The quote of 450, I felt was very, very, conservative and,
And that's marble and where the other two are granite.
correct, yeah, mhm. So,
But I think in a couple of weeks, we could probably have a better game plan and some costs associated with it.
cause if the committee, once we get through the quotes, is prepared to go forward, then we can say to them, do it. And, then we'll know where we stand in terms of how they look and also get their opinion regarding the additional, parts, which would be the plaques and the, pins.
Yeah.
So,
Could you please repeat what the maximum amount that we can authorize before a project has to go out for bid?
was it 2,500?
10,000.
Was it
10,000?
10,000?
10,000.
Oh, is it 10?
10,000.
Okay, yeah, that's better, yeah.
Yeah, we had originally was 20
That's
something,
right,
then
yeah,
it went
that's
to
right,
10.
yeah, mhm.
That's what school, that's why I brought up that,
Yeah,
look at it as
yeah,
a different
I'm
project.
getting my numbers confused.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure,
The eagle, what is that gonna be made of, silk?
okay,
granite?
yeah, so moving
I know
along.
you're gonna go along, but I thought that was all
Yeah.
part of your stuff.
Okay, so moving along, the Civil War eagle on the monument, beyond restoration. It's, the head's gone, it's split in two, and they tried to repair it. It has, severe damage, cause at one point or another it was, broken. So, my son and I went down, did a whole bunch of pictures, did a bunch of, measurements, and, I personally reached out to one company that I had do, some bronze work before for me. I sent them, pictures of it, and they said, they couldn't even get onto it for at least 4 months, and, the figure was, in excess of $7,000 to, give us, one in a, gray, granite or marble. And so, working through a combination of, Land Pro and Ed, we sent out, the details to, Haverstone in China, and they came back with a quote of, $1,800 to do it. And not only were they gonna do it for $1,800, they are prepared to ship it at the same time as the monument at no extra charge. So, or a minimal amount. I mean, we have a couple of, ifs, down at the bottom, which we'll talk about, but, in our conversations with them, you know, we sent them, you can see exactly what we came up with. We were very, very careful to be sure that it's identical, the size is identical to the original. And then with the details, as you can see, that they came back with,
Yeah.
it is virtually identical. It's gonna have the top cannon ball, and so that will fit onto the rest of the cannonballs. And then we have engaged the services of Leominster Monument to take care of the mounting it. So to replace the eagle was $1,800. Once again, the town pays nothing until the item is here in the States and delivered. And then for Leominster Monument to mount the new eagle, it was $850.
What's the new eagle made out of?
Is it gray marble?
Gray granite.
Yeah, gray granite, yeah, gray granite. They offered us either white or gray, and we looked at pictures and we felt that the gray was, the gray's gonna match. I mean, it's gonna match as close as you could possibly get. So, in
No,
order
that-
to move the ball forward, I used my discretion and told him to go ahead and make it. So,
Well, what is the patterning that's on this? This is not what they're following, right?
as far as patterning, what you mean?
Well, this cross-hatching on the front
Mm-hmm.
does not in any way resemble what the actual legs look like, and on the side view, it's portrayed differently. There's a lot of detail on the head in the front view, which is absent here, and the shape of the wings, where they're very cut off and angular, isn't reflected in the drawing.
It's not perfect.
Well, what I mean is that this looks like a sketch that is not going to be this looks like they put it together to show what it could look like, but I hope this isn't what it will look like, because this does not look, this doesn't look like the original to me.
If you can look up and see all those details from a distance, then you've got better eyes than me. And I thought that what they did for the model was a very close facsimile. It's never gonna be the perfect. And it was my thought that once we make the exchange, that we would be sure that the Historical Society got the original eagle. But
They have all of the pictures, and yes, that's a drawing. They're gonna try and make it exactly like we have.
that was a design that they offered us.
Well, this is a technical specification, this is a blueprint, right? So, much in the way we have the technical specification of the monument, this is what it's going to look like, so that we know what it's going to look like. This does not look like it was drawn by a draftsperson. This looks like they just filled in a pattern here to make it look like this is where the feathers will go. But, and things like the claws holding the ball, this looks like they just scribbled up and down for the claws. This does not look like something that they should be following. And true, it's gonna take someone really looking at it to tell, but if we are trying to honor the war dead, then it should not look as amateurish as this drawing indicates that it
The
could
head's
be if they
missing.
follow
The
it.
head's missing.
Have you
It's
seen
been
some
missing
of
for a
the,
while.
have you seen some of the drawings that the committee was sent of what they do for sculpture work?
What I'm saying is, regardless of what they do for sculpture work, if this is what they are following, then it will look like this.
And I can tell you, Laura, that what you're seeing in those photos is also a eagle that is 1884 that was put up.
Mhm.
So that's 140 years ago.
Mhm.
So what details you see in that eagle do not reflect what it looked like when it was new. So there would obviously be a lot of wear and tear. So the detail in what they're doing for us would represent something that looks a lot cleaner, fresher, newer, and that's obvious, there's no ifs, ands, and buts. I wouldn't want them to create it and then make it look old, because it's not gonna be, I don't believe it'll be out of place. I believe that it'll be in continuity with the appearance of what was originally there.
But do you see my point? This, it looks like someone said, okay, let's draw a car, and they did this. Okay, that's a car. So you can tell it's a car, but this shouldn't be what you follow if you're gonna build a car.
I think what I would like to say to that is that, once they produce the eagle and they send us a copy of what they've done, as a committee, we can vote on it, and if we decide that we don't want it, we'll start all over again. And
I have to ask you why you discount the quality of the other sculpture work that they've done, because I've seen it, and I've seen eagles at Livingstone and other places, and you know, the quality of what they do is extraordinary to a lot of other granite places.
I'm not calling that into question. What I'm calling into question is the quality of this rendering. And if this is the rendering that they are going to use to produce the piece, then the quality of the rendering will reflect what the actual product looks like.
I can speak with them and ask them how close they'll be able to sculpture the new one in reference to the picture of the old one.
And between Ed and I can honestly say, having had interactions with thousands of companies over the years, this company is on top of things. There is not, has there been more than a 24-hour period where they haven't responded it?
No.
So every time we send them something, they're prepared to come back. Gal Karen at Haebo, but we can double check that, and then I would say once again, if the committee as a group is not happy with the product, then we'll start all over again.
How does the eagle get attached to the top again?
A pin, I think.
Yeah.
The
Cannonball.
Good
that
question.
that one top cannonball
Is part
will
of
be
the-
removed from the old monument. It will be cut out, and what they will try and do is, when they cut that ball going across, they will save the rest of the eagle, which will probably go to the Historical Society, so that you know, whatever they can do to get that eagle removed in one piece will be done, and that will go to the Historical Society probably. But then, once they've got that top ball removed, in the new eagle, there'll be a pin,
Oh,
and there'll be a
Okay,
half inch hole that goes up 2.5 inches and goes down 2.5 inches, and there'll be a 3/8 stainless steel pin that will be epoxied into place. So it'll be, the ball will sit on the other balls and be epoxied and pinned in place, so.
you don't need
And
some kids
Haebo
coming
is
along. hitting.
preparing it for that, to accept that pin, is that
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, that's what I thought when we were talking
Yeah.
with them.
I have to tell you though, that on the budget protection, the total restoration expenses line is wrong. It says 1,800, and that's my error. And, cause replace the eagle is 1,800, so that should really be,
Okay,
let me get,
we just
go
got
ahead, you
these
can
today.
continue on, I'll give you a new
Okay, a new figure, yeah,
a new
okay.
number.
So, what I would propose is that reviewing, the quotes that we have, we can separate two. One is Leominster Monument, and that is, I would like to have a vote by the, group to accept the quote from Leominster Monument to do the cleaning of all of the monuments that we have. And that would be the $250 for the World War I and Spanish-American War, the $250 for the World War II monument, the $450 for the Civil War monument, and the one across the street in front of the school, that's $250. So, is that $500, $950, is that $1,200 total for?
2,050.
So $250 450 and 250?
No,
That's not 2,000.
950
it's $750 plus, it's $1,200.
Yeah, $1,200 for the cleaning. And then they are also,
Oh, I had the Mount New Eagle in there, sorry.
they also, at that point, will be providing us with advice regarding the rest of the things that we have in mind. So, I'd like to have someone make a motion that we,
I'll make that motion.
okay,
Okay.
seconded,
yeah.
okay, all those in favor? Okay, good, so, that part of it is okay. Now, we also therefore, to follow procedure, need to have a motion to, accept the $1,800, to replace the Eagle. And, so,
And $850 to mount it.
and the $850 to mount it. So if we wanna separate those two, we can do that, okay? And I think I'd rather do that. So I'd like to have a motion to, accept the $1,800 quote for replacing the Eagle.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded, all those in favor? Okay. And then let's do the mounting the Eagle, the $850. In light of the fact that Leominster Monument's doing so much other work for us, I think that is a fair amount, so I'd like to have a motion to accept that $850.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, seconded,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Shouldn't we wait until, are we going to entertain that Leominster Monument Company quote for the bronze cleaning and the cannon restoration, or are we gonna put it out for a bid?
well, we're gonna wait and see what they say. I think we'd like to get their feedback and opinion and see what they recommend, and then we meet again. And we talk about it, and then we go forward on that.
So that's why I abstained, because I don't think it's a good idea to accept one cost from them without having that overall reassessment
So
on
which one did you abstain on?
the $850.
Okay, all right, we'll enter that. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 1 abstain.
The total restoration expenses should be $3,850.
3850,
And
okay,
with a balance of $13,014.
okay. So, so you'll know if you want to, put those figures in. Total restoration expenses, cover page, cross out the 1,800 and put in $3,850. And then we'd have a remaining balance of $13,014. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and what accounts for the extra $2,050?
The,
Cause you went from 1,800 to 3,850.
well, yeah, I had 1,800 on there, and that was to replace the Eagle cost, so that can't be the total restoration, so I re-added.
Okay, I got you. So, all right. So, then we have contingency expenses. And we need to, take a look at that before we figure out, what else we might be doing with what we have left over. And so, one potential expense is additions to the monument. Right now, we have 200, I believe, as our official number. We had room for 216, if I'm not wrong, so we're definitely in that back panel, we're gonna have room. So we have to think about, a potential additional cost. We don't know what it's gonna be, cause that's an unknown. But to do that, Leominster Monument has offered to do that for $185 setup fee. And so we wanna wait as long as possible, cause if we had one name here and one name there, it's $185. And then $6.50 per letter. And I did a little math, just picked a number out of my head and said, what if we had 10? So if we had 10, we had to add, just a hypothetical, that would cost us $1,300. So that's $185 plus $650 per letter. I figured 20 letters per name as a number, and then times 10, and I came up with 1,300. May not happen, may not need it, but at least we have an idea. And then additional shipping cost, We are under the impression that Haibo is working with us to get it all in one container, which is fine. And then customs charges, that's an unknown, cause you had to have an agent. And where do we stand on that? I know,
We'll have an agent that, will be clearing the, monument in California.
Mhm.
The $7,000 cost that we have with Hablestone will be all of the transportation. But, one thing they never know about, because it changes a lot, is we probably pay a customs duty, and there's, some other fees that are associated with, clearing it through customs in California. And that'll be put on a flatbed trailer and, shipped to Astro Crane.
but the $7,000 was FOB, Astro Crane, is that
Right.
correct? Yeah.
Mhm.
So the other unknowns would be, the potential of additional for the
Custom charges and duty.
and duties, and I've had an agent, when I've had my books shipped in, they do it on a daily basis, dozens of times, and I think I paid the agent like $250 to do all the paperwork. That's an unknown at this point. And then we're not sure because customs duties, you know, it's whatever category it falls into, and so we don't know, but whatever it is, we're probably gonna have to pay it.
Isn't this something that we can find out?
Well, we're gonna find out one way or the other as soon as the agent's been, Haibo had an agent that they designate for doing that, and we told them to stay with that agent, and then we're gonna wait now to see, and we should find out, and as soon as we find out, I'll let you know.
You know, are they working on getting an amount now, or is it going to be determined once they have the finished product?
That's a good question. I'm
I
not
can
sure.
send you the schedule, that the agent has, but they can't, if there's a delay in picking it up, there's a charge. I mean, there's a laundry list of little things that are $65, $25, this, that, and the other, that if they happen, then you get charged. So,
And it's California.
we're gonna be looking
You
at,
won't know till you get there.
right now, they're in the process of putting all the names on the monument, so it's gonna be finished, probably within the next week. And then they will send us pictures of the monument and the base, before doing any and the eagle, before they do any shipping.
Are we concerned it will be in a shipping container out in the ocean waiting?
That's, you know, if they get it on, let's say they get it on the water, by the end of November. They originally told us it would take 30 days to get it here.
Yeah.
And that was before all of the backup with all the containers, coming into California. So, even if it took 2 months, you know, we'd be looking at getting it in February, but, I can't imagine that it would take more than that, but, that's, I don't know, that's in God's hands, I guess.
Yes.
That's not in our control.
Oh, since we have unknown amount, completely unknown amount, because it could fluctuate from a variety of reasons, as Ed and Tom just mentioned, does it make sense not to go forward with anything until we find out what that number
Go
is?
forward, anything like, what do you mean?
Any of the cleaning, any of the restoration? Or do you think that there is very minimal risk that it would
I think
go-
there is no risk that it would, if we have $13,014 remaining, there's no risk that,
Right.
it's gonna cost that much.
There are none of the duties that were imposed years ago on imports from China?
Duties, I don't know what the
Well, it was
percentages
big in the
are.
news that Donald Trump had imposed a lot of
Oh,
import
yeah,
duties on
25%.
Chinese goods.
Mhm.
So that's quite a bit of money if that's going to be the case for us.
We'll find out.
The
Yeah.
duty would only be on the cost of the monument, it wouldn't be on the cost of the shipping, so you're looking at duty on roughly $12,000, but.
And even if it were 25%, that would be, you know, a little over $3,000, so, yeah, and that's why having that buffer is gonna benefit us, you know, but I think that in light of what we're talking about here, we should not probably project too many other things we could do with the remaining money, until we have those numbers in mind, so, but I think we should consider ourselves extremely lucky that this is being done in such an expeditious fashion.
Yeah.
That we have now that buffer amount of time, cause every time I look at the news and I look at all those ships out there,
Yeah.
I think about, oh my goodness, so,
They are opening up a lot of ports that they didn't have before.
yeah,
So-
I'm trying to get enough truck drivers in to do
They
it.
just canceled 1,200 truck drivers, they just wiped them out because of drug testing,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, so,
it is what it is.
it is
And
what it is.
also
I- I was
California
just-
came up with some new restrictions on the big rigs, and
Mhm.
it's,
I was gonna
It's-
get done what we can get done and check off the list rather
Yeah,
than wait.
yeah, yeah,
so
Because
there's
what
a
happens if
pile of
next year
big
we don't
rigs
get it done at
sitting
all
here
because they're so
on the East
backlogged.
Coast, ready to go get it, but
Mm-hmm.
The rigs
It's
had
too-
to be 2011 or newer,
right,
otherwise they couldn't go in.
they couldn't go into, so,
Right.
you know, all these big rigs that are older than 2011
yeah.
can't go into California.
So, in light of that, so we've covered, what is on the, budget projection, with the exception of, the unknowns that we have. And, there's nothing we can do about that, it is what it is until we find out. But I think that, having that $40,000, puts us in a comfortable position. And having the $13,014 available to us, I believe, I can be corrected, I've been wrong before, but I think we're in,
Yeah, I think you're right.
still in pretty good shape.
I wonder if they ship to Seattle or any other places.
I don't know,
I mean, they would have the better feel for whether their
Yeah,
stuff is
and
getting
think
through or
about,
not.
the ship captain,
Yeah.
he's gonna wanna get in the best way possible too,
Yeah.
and the quickest way possible, and they might come up with, like you said, they're opening up other ports.
They're opening up on the East Coast,
Yeah.
closer to us.
I'll communicate with them and ask them for an estimate of, what they think, given current conditions,
Yeah.
would be for us to be receiving the monument, and, you know,
Have they thought about
they
going
ship
around
enough,
it?
they probably have a pretty good idea of where their containers are and how long it's taken
Yeah.
the containers to get in with other stuff.
Yeah, think about the, amount of stuff that they're thinking about, they're not gonna get paid until it's FOB.
Right.
And so that's certainly a consideration, and,
I went over there in a aircraft carrier. We chose to go around Cape of Good Hope and
did really,
and we didn't have
it was
a damn
easier,
bit- we didn't have a damn bit of problem.
Didn't
Yeah.
have enough change for the canal?
yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't go through the canal, we went through the Strait of Sunda, which, if I can, it's a great story. 4:00 in the morning, I was on the bridge, and I had the big, I always got the night bridge, I was the one that made out the you know, who was gonna be on, and I always took the nights. We had one of our lookouts started yelling, "Hey, there's something out here, there's something in the water. Something in the water."
Probably
So-
not an iceberg.
No, it was, what was the name of that, volcano that went up back in the 1800s out there and poisoned you know, it was all kinds of,
In South America?
Krakatoa?
no, it's, in down around Singapore, down that area.
I don't
Is
know,
that Krakatoa?
Krakatoa.
yeah.
It was Krakatoa, and Krakatoa was coming back to life, except that nothing was built up above the water, so all this was this huge mass of red hot stuff coming up and going splashing back down in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
So we went to got on the 1MC and got everybody out of bed, come up and said, you gotta see this, cause you'll never see this again in your life, and we passed about a quarter mile away from it. And went through the Straits of Sunda and up past Borneo.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow. Nice call, Laura, Krakatoa, huh?
Yeah, good go. Smart woman.
Yeah. Okay, so, I can tell you that I've had, a good conversation with our contractor, that's, Matt Bernard at, Lawn Pro. He is prepared to, work with us. He said, anything else you need, I'll be happy to help, so I think we're, in good shape on this side of the deck, and hopefully, things will fall into place. Certainly, they have thus far, considering the obstacles we've encountered, so, so with that in mind, if there's no more discussion on budget, then I'd like to move ahead to, the Facebook. We, at this point, need to, do some updates on the Facebook, and, so I did ask, Laura if she would, take the lead on that in terms of what you felt we needed for changes to, make the Facebook up to date.
Well, let's hear it. How much, do we want to talk about the Eagle on Facebook?
And we could put that in the context of other things that we plan to do, which would be the restoration of the other monuments, which would include, the replacement of the Eagle. Is that what you're saying? So.
Yeah, replacement, the Eagle, washing of,
Restoration of all the other
Yeah.
memorials, I think that's a,
I wouldn't get too deep into the details, but I think it's time to say, hey, we're gonna do this.
that we're gonna put the, monies to other direct veteran-related efforts.
Maybe at this time, we don't even need to do that, alls we have to do is say that,
You
we're
said-
comfortable in the fact that, we're gonna be able to get the monument and the base and do the restoration of all of the other monuments, so that they'll be in excellent shape for Memorial Day or something like that.
And Bill, your input,
No, no, nothing.
okay, alright.
No.
Laura, you comfortable with putting some wording together on that? Great. Cause, I think it's important that they know that all the monies are going for veteran
Right.
related causes.
Right.
Okay? Other changes, updates we need to make? I don't wanna get too far ahead of you.
Well, I'll put the final tally in when we receive that amount next week.
We got that amount already.
If we have,
No, final total after we have a person who said he's going to be donating. There was a conversation on Facebook.
Yeah.
$36.
$36, yeah.
But we got, notification from the town accountant on what the total deposits are. That
And that's over
balance is
40.
Numbers aren't gonna
deposits,
be the
less
same.
expenses,
They're gonna be,
and the
Yeah,
total,
so-
enough, though.
the total deposits are already over 40,000.
I would say we just say that we've completed our goal and then let it at that.
Yeah.
Rather than have to explain the difference of what we took in and what money we
Yeah.
already spent.
Reached our goal.
Yeah, you don't need the explanation, you say we've reached our goals and remove the thermometer.
I'm in favor
Everyone
of
good
that.
with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We leave the thermometer up for 2 weeks or something like that?
Not if we reached our goal.
Hmm?
If
No,
we
I'd say
reach our goal.
remove the thermometer. And then any questions that get directed, if they say, well, how much was that, I can give them a general idea, it's public knowledge, but
Right.
I think, if we leave the thermometer there under the 40,000, then people are gonna think we still,
Still, we're
Right.
talking about money.
yeah. And then we can definitely, in my opinion, remove what it said, how to donate, we have that, so get that off.
Sure.
You can put a request and say, we still are, well, no, you look up for money one way or the other, so I just say we reached our goals.
If somebody
We still,
wants to make another
Donate.
donation, they can.
because we're in the process of refinishing all the monuments and the added costs for the eagle and
Mhm.
stuff.
Should I remove the online donation capability from the town website?
I believe that's, yeah. Mhm. We'll make it, there's such a
Simple.
thing of making it harder to give us some money, but at this point, you know, we
We can
wanna-
always go back
Yeah.
and say that because of the world picture,
Mhm.
you know, the costs have risen
That's right.
from our
You can take your hat off and we can.
say, seal, yeah, I need a little more,
Did you locate Daniel Baxter?
if you don't know.
Did you locate Daniel
Sure did.
Baxter? You did, I thought so.
Absolutely,
I was wondering,
absolutely.
I don't know why.
Thrilled, it was, but thank you very much, it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Uh,
In fact,
good.
when I called the next day and spoke with Claudia, you know what she said? Do you wanna talk to him?
Yeah,
Cause he was here.
that's why I was so
Had
surprised
a
you
wonderful
couldn't
chat
find
with him.
him. Yeah,
Had a
good,
wonderful chat.
wonderful.
Mhm.
I knew that was a lost person and
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Lost and found, he was on Halfie Road and
Yeah,
he said,
yeah,
oh, that phone number I got rid of a long time ago.
right,
So I have
yeah,
his updated
yeah.
information, so.
Yeah, I was friends with his wife and I knew he was here,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
it
he
surprised
wasn't.
me that you couldn't find him. Oh,
Yeah.
good, that's
Yeah.
good.
Cause well, that number had been disconnected and
Yeah.
I reached another guy by the same name and
Oh.
I didn't reach him, I emailed him and he never got back to me, so. Okay, Laura, what else do you think we need to do to make it updated?
Do you you and Tom are working on a video, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So how long do you think that video is going to be?
In terms of time,
Yes.
we've averaged 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, 15 or so.
Can you do that, but also do something really short, from 1 minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds, just to tease it, or to talk about the highlights?
Would you, then you would have Brittany send that to you, mean?
Yes,
Okay,
and the reason is because unless you are very into the project, 15 minutes on a video on a computer is something that people don't generally want to invest the time in, no matter what the subject. And a lot of people are more interested in short form, 30 to 90-second bits.
Tom, would you take the initiative on that and get in touch with Brittany?
Right.
And get the date and then suggest that we do a quickie and then one where we go into more detail. I would agree with you that that comes up on the town website, but that doesn't have 375,000 views.
Right.
Yeah. That stupid little video we did with the unboxing, that was a minute and it had thousands of views.
It did really?
Yeah.
I'll be done, yeah, okay. So we can do like
Sure.
a little vignette and then
Right.
one more detail, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And then have Brittany send that to Laura.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And what do you, say anything else on there we need to update?
Let's see, so I've got monument restoration, remove thermometer, goal has been reached, big announcement, yay. Remove donation announcements, shut down the donation page. And if there's any other, you said you're doing a Veterans Day post tomorrow, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a Veterans Day post from my company, and then I can also post that on Facebook. And
Right.
it's just a thank you to our veterans.
Are we going to engage in any activities in the fall and winter, like scheduling that cleanup?
You could just say, the town could, we're planning on, in the near future, start restoration of the monuments, and you could keep an eye to the monuments to see the progress.
And so in light of that, exactly what you're saying, I would say the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think, given the committee vote this evening,
Mhm.
I'll give Lumsden Monument notification tomorrow so that they can fit it in at their earliest convenience with their schedule.
And what do you think? Are you prepared to come and do a video at the time?
It depends on my workload
Okay.
and if I'm available, but absolutely, people, You wouldn't believe how many power washing videos there are out there, and people go nuts
No, I
over them.
wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
There are lots of videos, YouTube about antiques restoration. People love that before and after. So you take a picture of the decrepit looking thing and then the work that goes into it, and then you compare the before and after shots in the same frame.
Mhm.
And it shows, it can be a very dramatic way of seeing how the money's being used.
So Ed, when you find out when they're coming, could you let Laura know?
Okay,
And-
I'll give them word and I'll have them notify me
Yeah.
what the schedule is, and I can let you know. I can send you most of the pictures I have of the existing monuments now that show their condition.
We could probably also get Brittany to come in and do the
Okay, that's it.
filming of
Okay.
while it's going on.
Mhm. Yeah, she's always,
Yeah.
seems to be ready, willing, and able, and then in
She
a
was
couple
on
of,
your my back yesterday, crying,
Yeah.
hey, you guys doing anything for
yeah.
Yeah, that would be excellent if she could do it,
Yeah.
professional videographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, she has assistants that come and do those things too.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
she doesn't always do it, Larry.
Yeah, so, I think that's a great idea to show progress, so, Ed, if you can, help coordinate that, that'd be
I'll
great.
get back to you,
Yeah, good, yeah.
on that.
And so we can, let's use, Brittany as the first option.
Right.
And then if, she's not available, Laura, if she's available. And if not, I could probably have my son come, cause he's got one of those fancy Dan iPhones, yeah, so, okay. See anything else?
No, I think that's a good crop of things.
It is a good crop of things, yeah. And what about, no, I'm gonna track that, I'm gonna say, what about showing them this as a sample? I said it, then I'm taking it back as no, cause the style's gonna be different,
Yeah.
font's gonna be different, so, but I brought it tonight so you could see it. I've sent you photos of it, but I wanted you to see it.
Yeah.
So that's, so
Very
that
nice.
was, a spontaneous thought, which I am retracting. So, okay, now, that brings us up to,
You could take a partial picture of both of them, say that the stone will be this color and the base will look this color.
yeah,
And just put small pictures in.
what do you think, Laura?
Gee, if only
just
there were
cut out-
some way to get that to happen.
Jeez, yeah.
You
I
realize
know.
it's got your
Oh,
name
yeah.
on it too.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, see, I'm taken without my name, yeah. Boop, look at that, boop, boop.
Oops, that's reflective.
Huh?
Would you please hold it
Yep,
up so
I can
I
do
can
that.
shoot it from the side?
You wanna hold it here,
Yeah.
down?
How about putting them together?
Is this polished? Oh, it's polished on the other side.
Mhm.
Turn it over.
Okay,
There you go.
so do you wanna put it together with that? So we can slide
Well,
that
here we go.
down.
Hey, watch this. Let's get rid of the chamois.
Mhm.
I'm gonna lay it artistically. Here, let me put it like this. Sure, yeah.
So she'll cut herself, trust me. There won't be any part of
Scratch the tape on it.
Dangerous weapons, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. That could do a lot of damage.
So now this is meaning it's a workshop. Alright, someone wanna get a picture of Laura when she's doing this?
Yeah.
Is that your way?
We have such good meetings.
Yeah.
When I was 7 or 8 months pregnant with my son, I climbed up on a ladder to shoot a picture of the CNC machine, and everyone was staring at me like, what in the hell is she doing? And our liability's gonna go through the roof. But the shot came out great.
I wanna see if I can get a picture of that too.
Sure, absolutely.
If that's bad, honey, wait till you're 80 and everybody thinks you can't do anything.
Easy, Silver.
Easy, silver.
Okay, can we turn it over?
Sure. One side by each?
Just wanna get this
You're getting a reflect, there you go, now you don't have the reflection of the fluorescent light,
Yeah, that's good.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, moving along to the last item on the agenda is preliminary, discussion regarding the Memorial Day itself. And my input on that is that, Tom and I are, members of the Memorial Day Committee, and we had our first meeting last week, and, let me get this, so. And Ed, you mentioned you'd like the,
Yeah, I'm gonna, Plymouth Monument, I'd like to see them.
okay, And we had a good meeting, because when we think about the upcoming Memorial Day, we have a lot of skin in the game. And so, taking a very personal interest in, it being, a good day, well organized, and so, we had a meeting last week, and I can tell you that, members of the committee, Claudia Provincial is the, chairperson, and she's done a couple of, years in the past. Sue Bregney is the, also a member, and she's the secretary for the committee. Tom and I are on the committee, and John Nason, and, John was, and, we had, Joe Gadnowitz.
Right.
And Joe has organized many, many years in Ashburnham, and, he did not want to be a member of the committee. He's a Vietnam, Marine veteran, and, but he was more than willing to give his time, input. I had a lot of, great
A lot of good
ideas,
input, yeah.
structure, so on and so forth, and so we are, off to a good start. We have, another meeting in December, and there's so many moving parts to it. You all know Tom has been the, master of ceremonies, if that's the right vernacular, in the past, and, he's volunteered to do that again. And we have, as a committee, designated a Grand Marshal, and Tom is gonna be the Grand Marshal. He's gonna have a chance to ride in, my 1949 Packard, on that day, so.
That's the only reason I volunteered.
No kidding, right?
See,
You're older than the packet.
yeah. See, it was Gary Kangus's Model A,
Oh.
or, our 49 Packard from Back to the Future.
Let's see.
No,
Let me think
wasn't a
about
hard
that.
decision, but, so we talked about, the structure of the.
Do I get to, I didn't ask, do I get to sit up on the back and?
No, only if your name is Christopher Lloyd. That's the deal, dude. You are not Doc Brown, so, but, there are a lot of good ideas, have been proposed. We, are trying to, reach out to have a, marching band, and, as some of you may know, Quabbin's done it in the past, but they have the 6 towns, and we're not designated until 2023
Right.
to have them. We've reached out to Monty Tech, haven't heard back from them. I put my name in to receive bids, and, we had one bid that came, I actually had 5, but they were from Florida, New York City, you know. I don't know why they would bother to quote it, cause the money was, unholy. But, Jan's Marching Band, located in Paxton, followed up with them, they gave a quote of $1,500. And the budget for the entire Memorial Day from the town is
$1,500.
So, and I spoke with them. I asked if she would, consider, cause that's a 12-person band, and they have, trumpets and trombones and, the drums, and they're all patriotic, and, you know, certainly, that's what we're looking for. And I said, any chance, cause $1,500 is the entire budget, that you can have 6 people instead of 12, And, she said, no way, it's first come, first serve, so, that may, she said she had other people that had made inquiries, but they haven't committed. So that is something that I would throw across the bow, as they say. And maybe based on our conversation this evening, we may not be in a position to do that, but personally, I can't think of a better $1,500 that we can spend to hire that band and pay for it out of the $13,014 that we have available. But we have some unknowns. But if we want to vote on that and vote to encumber $1,500 to pay for the band for the 2022 Memorial Day, I'd like to open that for discussion.
Like Laura said, why don't we wait to see what the added expenses are for anything
And
else?
at that point, it may be too late to get that band because
Oh,
they
I
may be
see,
hired
okay.
by somebody else,
Oh.
but that's,
Yeah,
We could be in a
Absolutely.
pickle if we don't have enough money. It's even worse of a
Yeah.
pickle. I'm
Is-
just saying, I just,
Mhm.
there's gonna be added expenses that we don't know about.
yeah, from the names added to
Yeah.
a whole bunch of things, the Eagles and everything else, and, you know.
you
and
wanna
I-
be fiscally responsible.
Well, I
Yeah.
do, cause I'll tell you, I get real the heebie-jeebies, because like I heard today, like China has warned all their citizens to stock up on all their stuff for the immediate future. And they're flying a lot of warplanes over Taiwan, so that would put a wrinkle in everything, everything
And they're
would
building
cease.
aircraft carriers in the desert.
Yeah.
Did you see that,
Yeah,
Tom, by any chance?
Yeah, aircraft carriers in warship,
Mhm.
so.
Okay. Input from Tom and Laurie? Laura, sorry.
Well, you have to have a band.
You have to have a band.
Yeah.
Mhm. You don't have a band,
Yeah.
things are awful quiet. Now, that's not necessarily our responsibility, cause we need to think that through, but, you know, I don't wanna say, if we run short of money, I'd put in a difference, let's put it that way.
In the past, haven't we had Quabbin High School?
Not available, as I mentioned,
Oh, I'm
they have to, they have 6 towns, they have to, each year, and we're slated for 2023.
Are there other, high school bands that
I
you
have
could-
reached out to Orange, Athol, in fact, I reached out to Orange Community Band, right? And, they got back to me, and they said, well, we're not a marching band, so they're more of a orchestra. And she said, but you may wanna, and she gave me, like Orange County, and then I realized that
California.
California, yeah. Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
Orange, Mass.
Yeah.
That's what you can get in trouble with Googling, so,
Hmm.
so I've reached out to Athol, we've reached out to Monty Tech, but nothing yet. Claudia told me that tomorrow she would give me, she's tried, they haven't responded. She's gonna give me a contact person, I'll go there, or I'll contact them and see, but right now, we do not have a band.
I forgot that I had somebody that I could try, that we used to use.
Henry Youngman, was that it?
Al Youngman,
Al Youngman?
and I've got his, I don't know whether I've got it or not.
And what do you have there, Laura?
Fireworks, success.
Yeah?
This is our post on Facebook and Instagram. It says, We are success. We are thrilled to announce that we have reached our fundraising goal. This project has deeply resonated with many, many people, which is reflected in the generosity of all who donated and who expressed support of the project. Thank you one and all. Emoji, 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 fireworks.
Gee,
Yes,
And I also put a mission accomplished on our homepage that was the fundraising goal. And I have removed the online donation capability. It's unpublished, it's not gone. And I unpinned that announcement at the top of our Facebook page. So, do you also want me to strip away all the thermometers that shows the incremental progress? Because we do have an active conversation going on that last one.
I'd say take them off. Mhm.
Yeah, I'd take this, if we've reached our
Yeah,
goal, what
yeah.
is it doing there?
I mean,
Mhm.
Okay.
off we go.
Plus, it doesn't
See
we
here,
don't have to
so-
explain the difference in the numbers.
Yeah,
We reach our goal.
So,
we're gonna get $36
It's,
an
he's
Tom-
not
hour.
on, he's not on this phone, so I,
not on that phone? And what does that mean? I mean, can you reach out to him and what, did he have a band, a marching band?
yeah. Hold on, maybe it's in this. I got a new phone and a new iPad, and so I don't know what's on what.
So you think we should, put the money in for that, yeah?
I'm
Well,
going
you're
to go
part of
home, I
this.
feel dizzy.
My answer is yes,
Yeah,
but,
well,
the
we can
lights
also
and
wait
The lights, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go
Okay,
along, the
all right.
lights are really,
Yeah,
Get
okay,
into
yeah,
my
alright,
eye.
well,
Feel okay to drive?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'd like to go now, I don't think I need to stay any
Yeah.
longer, but thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah.
Doris, I'm winking at you now,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay.
No, I'm okay, but, I just am still kinda weak.
I understand, she had surgery on Monday,
No.
cataract surgery. So, should we wait 2 weeks and see if we can reach out? Ed, what's your input?
I feel confident enough that, that with the $13,000 that we have, even though we have other restoration things to, accomplish, that, I'll go along with you, Bill, and if there's no money left, I'll do half the band if you do half the band.
So we put in a
If-
notification or something that the money that people donating towards that memorial was going to a band?
It's going to a veteran-related
Veterans
activity.
Memorial Day
Yeah,
Oh,
parade.
No,
Do
okay.
you think anybody would complain?
I don't know,
Mhm.
I don't know,
They can call me.
yeah, you know,
if they don't
Just
like
throwing
that, they
that
can
out
call
there.
me.
There you go, yeah.
And that would be at your discretion whether you, I mean, you've got a band that we can do it with for 1,500 with, so we wouldn't pay more than that.
Yeah.
So if there's other things that come in that are more reasonable, so be it, but,
But
you
if
know,
we vote tonight to do that, then I'm gonna get in touch with that band and hire them. So if and then it requires, I believe a $300 down payment. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, so we still have a quorum present. So, let's vote on it. And, we have the backup plan, which is, what, I'm saying and what Ed is saying is that we run out of money. Remember, we can always add to that fund, so we got the 40,000, but there's nothing saying we couldn't put more money in, correct?
Right.
Okay, so, I'm looking
Or
for
we
a
could
motion that we authorize that $1,500 and, hire the Memorial Day, band for our Memorial Day services for 2022,
I'll second that.
okay? All those in favor? Okay,
Okay.
all right, we have, 4, we have unanimous, and I'd say thanks, cause I think that everybody's gonna be busy, cause don't forget, there was no 2020, and 2021, so, I think a lot of bands are gonna be very, very busy, and, so I'll let Claudia know.
Okay.
But if she gives me, I'll ask this, if tomorrow she gives me the name of Monty Tech, and Monty Tech, I contact them, and they say they can do it, then I'll hold off on hiring the other band.
Do they have a band?
Monty Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah, well, that's what Claudia said.
I never knew that while I was the chairman.
Yeah. So I'm presuming they do, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
okay.
Other
For those of
business?
you who weren't at that, meeting for the Memorial Day, if they accomplish everything that they're going to do, this is going to be one hell of a celebration.
Just have it, when you mentioned Memorial
There were
Day.
a lot of good
this
ideas.
Mhm.
evening,
Yeah.
we're gonna meet up at the field, or we're gonna walk down with the parade?
I'll be happy to go into all that with you. I think that a very important part of it is where it begins and where it ends, and to have the right people in the right place to get people all together. But
Yeah.
in theory, in the past, it's been, organized at the rec field. in
Oh, I
Saxon
know,
Rec
I
Field.
imagine it every year, but I mean, as far as the committee goes, the group bus, just meet at the field type thing.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
meet
yeah.
on the common, we meet on the common
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And that brings up a point, which I'm glad we did,
You could
And
march
then-
with the, you could march with the,
you,
I'm gonna march with the Lions.
Yeah, cause we're gonna have, literally, floats available for veterans. We're gonna have cars available for veterans, so, and veterans who can walk too, so. And I think that part of our mission is to reach out to as many of the people that are gonna be on that memorial in between time, not now, but when the time comes, we have phone numbers and so on and so forth, and we're gonna invite them, 'cause we want them to be there. And any veteran, I mean, I spoke with a fellow yesterday who was from Gardner, and he said he's marched in the Hubbardston Parade before, and I said, I want you to be there, cause he was, 64, in the Navy. So, when you go home tonight, in your email, there are already, some pictures of Bill and Steve and, Bob Filio. Remember we talked about the potential of, a collage, at the Memorial Day? And, so I don't mean to keep it any longer, but, how do we gather those pictures? My thought is that, cause we're not gonna put the names on or anything, I think if we were to put something on Facebook and say, this is reaching out to all of those Vietnam era veterans who have sent in the forms and are knowledgeable that they are going to be all those Hubbardston Vietnam era veterans who have put input in or know they're gonna be on it, cause we can't publish the names and we're not going to, cause many of them asked not to. We would, love to have a photo of you that you can submit for a collage to be used at the Memorial Day service along with the memorial itself, and ask them to send a picture.
Right.
Okay, now,
somebody's gonna, you know, what are we gonna put these on, you know, signs around the, we haven't talked about that yet.
we
so-
haven't, but to get the photos first, then we can
Right.
decide what we're gonna do with them. If you remember, I talked about the last time, you know, having, you know, a big frame with a bunch of photos, and we talked about that there's a lot of variety in the quality of them and so on and so forth. We talked about having a digital that would do it, you know, every 2 seconds it would change, or 5 seconds, and having that set up where it would be a monitor. And I also talked about doing the signs along the road, but for the time being, gathering the photos would be the first
Right.
step. And, but how do we have them submit the photos? Is there, somebody who would volunteer to gather those photos as they come in? In other words, on the Facebook and any other social media that you can think of, that we can get the word out there. If you'd like to submit a picture, send the picture too. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Did we do a mailing to reach the veterans that we spoke with and verified? So
No.
they all came to us.
That's correct, yeah, in
Well, we
many
did a
different
mailing
ways.
of two
So they
hundred and
wouldn't see the
seventy,
Facebook thing.
we did a mailing of 270 to all
Wasn't it more than that, wasn't it? More than?
270, I think.
270, okay, yeah. Yeah, and that was one of the ways we gathered, names, and then there were many times it was phone calls and emails and stuff like that,
Not worth doing that again, it was $450.
that, you know, mailing would not be
How are you
effective.
gonna know if the people who submit pictures, if they were even in the, gonna be on the memorial?
How would we know that they're
Yeah, that name, they're not gonna send your name.
well, they're gonna
to
be,
send you
if they send
pictures.
it through email, it's gonna
If
have
they
a
send,
name on it.
no, it'll only have their email address,
Yeah.
but it won't be, identify them.
And that's another point, and that is, I think we would all agree that we would not put names on the pictures.
I know, but you don't know if the pictures submitted would be actually pictures that were people.
I guess that would be,
A problem.
Honesty.
well,
This
it would
is-
be an honesty system.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted
Screwing
their,
around,
if somebody wanted their, puss on it and weren't supposed to be, we'd probably never know.
You,
Um,
well, okay.
But I would run that risk,
No,
so,
no, it's,
okay, so what do you think about that? Ed?
No, I had another issue, so
Okay, no.
I'll wait to finish
I
that.
don't think that you'll reach the numbers that you're hoping for via Facebook.
How would we do it?
Well, I think the mailing, if the mailing is how we got their attention in the first place, then the mailing is something we
We
should
got less
repeat.
than, 20% responded to the mailer?
From direct mail percentages, that's astonishing. Usually
Yeah.
you'd get a 10% response.
Mm.
Yeah.
But it's,
I don't wanna spend another $470
well,
to
that's
do
the
it,
thing,
though.
how important is this collage to you?
I think, I think it's important to veterans, that they would, not necessarily a name, like we said. If we ended up with 10, so be it. But I'd like to have something that shows the young men and women, during that time period or some period they wanna share with us, so I'd like to pursue that,
If you were thinking about it, doing, digitizing them and doing it, with a 2-second showing, something like that, then everything they sent, otherwise you're gonna be having people's pictures that you're gonna be responsible for and getting back to them. And
if they send it electronically.
if they send them all in electronically,
That would be the only way, yeah.
then we could digitize them
Okay.
and either do it and with a screen, or you could always print them out,
well, if they
from the
send us
digital.
they send us emails, they're already digitized, basically. You
Yeah.
can use a digital
Yeah.
file.
So what about making a banner like we did for the
I love that
thing,
idea.
because that's I think it was $80 for the banner.
Mhm.
The troubles that you get with doing a monitor is that if you do a computer monitor, it's tiny and no one will notice it. And if you want people to notice it, you're into a giant projection screen, which is hard to do on a bright sunny day.
Yeah, and I think we should depending on how much money we have, I think we should have a banner across this like they did for the Halloween thing for the Memorial Day ceremony. And I think that we also we'll talk about it later, but banner to acknowledge some of the donors. We talked
Yeah, I
about
think
that.
that, we really should do that, and,
But that's all under,
that,
it was under $100, right?
If you're doing a banner that stretches across the road, that's not gonna be $100.
No,
it's
but
gonna
the
be more.
one we did
But the
was
one
a
we
10-footer.
did was,
Mhm.
I think it was $100 with those useless stakes. So
I
if
put
you-
them to use.
Oh, you did? Oh, I thought they were.
Oh, no,
like
that's
that.
right, did I use them?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
I
stakes
did.
were $30.
I used them, but I attached it differently. We
Okay.
used them and then I added one more in the middle, so.
but if we could do a banner the same size and
10
very
foot.
similar to the banner that's there, where the memorial is, we could put the donors by their category of donation
Mhm.
and fit them all on there.
Right.
And then those that are under $150, we could just put a dollar figure with all of those who,
Just put other donors.
other
Yeah.
donors, yeah.
Yeah, so, food for thought. I would volunteer, if no one else, if I can't delegate it, to be the contact person on Facebook. Here's what I'll suggest, that we post that with, if you'd like to send a picture, send it to me. And like Laura said, we may not get a good response, but if in a month we have some feedback, we can then adjust how we get the word out.
Right.
So we
Yeah,
can
move forward or
Oh.
scrap it.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of clarifications. So we have a call on Facebook for photographs, and they should email them directly to you?
Yes. Mhm.
And second, I feel like an idiot saying this, but that's black granite, right? Not black marble?
Granted.
Granite, thank you,
Mhm. Yeah.
cause that's what I wrote down. I didn't commit yet.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, yeah, so you'll post that, if you'd like to have your picture,
If you
Yep.
wanna be specific, it's India black granite.
India black granite, okay. Anything else we need to cover? Thank you very much for your time,
Have a good night.
and
I will
happy
go-
Veterans Day, if the word happy can be associated with it, but
Yeah.
have a good Veterans Day, have a safe Veterans Day.
There it
Well,
goes
that's right.
down.
It is my birthday, the Marine Corps birthday.
Right, that's right, 204, he looks pretty good for two
Yeah,
forty-seven.
I am, I pickled myself when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Is it, you stay
I'm
pickled?
still
or-
working on
No,
it.
no, years ago.
On being pickled?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
little heavier, so.
Ed and I work on that every Thursday.
Yeah, I
every Thursday.
understand, that's why I don't have meetings on Thursday. You guys come in with a glow on, I can see it.
I'm gonna do what I did on Memorial Day, I'm going to go to all the veterans cemeteries and sound taps tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Are you going to Winchton and, where else?